there is a quote by the late Wayne Dyer that says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it's one of my favorite quotes of all time, and definitely one of my favorite quotes by the late Wayne Dyer. And what it means is that we all have our own perception of life. We all have our own internal filter or lens and how we see the world. You've heard the saying, perception is reality. So if you have problems, stressors in your life, who doesn't, or things that are difficult, and you start to perceive them differently, see them differently, believe them to be different than what they actually are, how you perceive them to be, then everything changes. So you're giving it a different perspective. So when it comes to challenges or problems, you can see that as opportunities for growth and evolution. If you have losses or setbacks or, quote, failures, no such thing as failures, you can see that simply as data, information, feedback on what not to do moving forward. So, in other words, you're giving the things in your life a different meaning. And when you give things a different meaning, then you start to respond differently. You start to make different decisions. You start to act differently. And when you do all of that, a lot of times your results, your outcomes often change as well. So not only are you changing your internal state of being through how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how you're responding, but then the outer world, reality, life, starts to reorganize itself to reflect your internal state. So your internal state will then get reflected in your outer results. It's not magic. It actually happens. So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, and it starts with you inside.